Welcome, everybody, to the Tap Out Podcast Network. I'm Nick McDaniel. He's Myron Fancher. How the heck are you, man?
Hey, welcome, folks. I'm glad to have y'all back for another episode. It's good to be back, and I am excited about some things I saw this weekend and last
Yeah, man.
night at that point.
Absolutely. We a lot of stuff that caught our eye on TV, but we hope we're catching your eye, whether it's on YouTube or your ears on podcast platforms, or a combination of both over on Patreon, patreon.com/tappedoutpod. Sign up, man. I've already rattled off of the benefits once. I don't know that I got it in me again. The big ones you want to hit is that top tier level, the $25 level. You're going to get the 8.5 by 11, actually physical copies signed of the exclusive Tapped Out collectible that goes out every single month to those top tier people. The $10 level, of course, gets you the digital version of that. And then, of course, anything we do early and all of said benefits. You should check us out. It's going into Christmas. Gift somebody a membership for your favorite wrestling fan. Gift them a membership over here to the patreon.com /tappedoutpod and get them signed up because it's a good deal, right, Myron?
It's a phenomenal deal. Y'all are all top tier people in my life, but it's easy to get in there on that top tier with the Tapped Out podcast and get those great collectibles, man. I love that stuff.
I agree, man. But look, like you brought it up, man, stuff that caught our eye. Lots of stuff, and it's kind of going to be hard to juggle these two. The first kind of our normal topic, and then the second topic we were going to talk about today. So we're probably just going to blur the shit out of them into one big giant glob of what caught our eye on TV. A lot of it stems out of the WarGames, which was going to be our next topic. It's going to be our next topic. But some of the stuff that caught our eye, obviously coming out of WarGames, the Vision defeat. Let me back up. The Vision, ? Logan Paul, because I'm still not sure if he's in there or not. Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar, they defeat CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and Roman Reigns in the WarGames match. WarGames matches are designed to give us answers and give us, resolution.
Yes, resolutions. And I hate that they got rid of the little cages that they were coming out of. I everybody coming from the back. It just wasn't as exciting. Also, people not rushing down to the ring. That's what got me. Everybody wanting to do their entrance. Their buddies are in there getting the crap beat out of them, and they're doing their entrance. But it was the Ninja that popped in. What happened with that? Nobody knows who that was. Nobody knows who that is. It just was. I mean, I don't think Seth Rollins could have got up there on that cage with his arm in surgery.
Well, that's the question of the week, right? Who's the masked man? Who's that guy? Look, Raw, Paul Heyman. Don't know. Wasn't me. Didn't have anything to do with it. Just throws his hands up and I'm guilty of a lot of things, but that ain't one of them. Okay, first of all, that's total BS, right? We're going to move past that part. Maybe. Here's the maybe. So let's go down and let's, look, folks, again, we're recording on Tuesday afternoon/evening. The names that have come out at this point, the obvious answer is everybody's screaming Austin Theory. He was rumored to be a member of the Vision from the beginning. The build looked like him. The agility surely looked like him.
Good fit.
And so forth and so on. What's your take if it's Austin Theory?
I think it's Austin Theory. I don't have any idea where it's going. I don't know if this is some kind of initiation ritual where he's trying to catch their eye by doing this. I don't know. I mean, we look at the other things. Seth can't get up to. I don't think Seth can get up there. Possibly Sammy. Where would Sammy fit into this?
Would be that. Well, let me back up. I want a Theory first. Like, I think Theory being that he was always supposed to be in the Vision, that made, like if it's him, Paul's just lying. Shock, right? Yeah. So, he always has known that this is who it was, right? So Austin Theory, look, if we're betting odds, and we do another show now that's betting. If we were betting odds, Theory's probably the front runner just because it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Seth, we talk about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins makes sense because the stomp, the attacked Punk, all of those things make sense. However, if Seth was hurt still, that probably wasn't something he could achieve.
But would he help the Vision? Isn't the blood still bad after they kicked him out?
That's what I'm saying. So part two of that would be the Seth part doesn't make any sense. Sami Zayn's name came out. Now we'll get to your Sami thing. Sami Zayn that little theory came out, and it was more of he's been just losing on a losing streak. He's dropping titles, he's losing matches. Could he finally just be frustrated to the point that maybe Paul Heyman made him an offer he couldn't refuse?
This is the Jey Uso bit, man. It's the same thing they're doing with Jey Uso right now. I don't think Sami would ever do anything with Paul Heyman. I don't think at all. I think it's this whole thing people are rumored about Logan Paul becoming a babyface. The Vision becomes the new Shield, basically. They're the 3-man team with Austin Theory there. Maybe it was one of Logan Paul's buddies. What was that guy's name? K Jizz or something? Okay, what is Logan Paul's partner's name?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Okay. Well, maybe it was one of those guys. I don't know, man. It's up in the air. But could it be the last rumored subject? Could it be?
Chris Jericho's name comes out, thrown out there, and people are like, absolutely not. Listen, we are fully aware they don't have to use the same guy to do what they did at, WarGames. It could be Jericho later. Do you hide the Who's the Masked Man for a month until his contract's freed up and he can maybe show up on, WWE TV? You could. It's one way to do it. You could try to do the big surprise, the big reveal. Him and Punk have history. So there's a little story there if you want to do that. The rumors are out there that Jericho has been offered basically one good long story into his retirement. And then he would have his retirement, go into the Hall of Fame maybe next year, not this WrestleMania, but the following one, potentially have that or whatever, and have that play out. So, and see how that goes.
A possibility, but I'm still waiting to see it. I mean, Jericho looked phenomenal last time I saw him. He was in great shape.
Sure. So. Good picture. Put it out on social media. Absolutely. But look, it's theory. I mean, we all love to sit here and book, and realistically, it's probably theory. So that's kind of where we're going and whatever. I didn't want to ask you because we disagreed on this one a little bit. Not like tremendously, but a little bit. Bron's promo.
I thought Bron's promo was it was like if you had just taken Scott Steiner and turned him back to year one, and you saw Scott Steiner just growing as a promo. Not his dad, not Rick Steiner. Woof, woof, woof. Did he ever say anything besides woof, woof, woof? But I think the guy never talks that much. You give him a mic and he cuts a really good promo. It wasn't hard times, for Christ's sake, but it was a good promo. Everybody's making a big deal about it because he's a guy that doesn't talk that much that cut that promo. I think that's what it was.
Sure. And I think a lot of we always hyperbole, overreaction Monday, as we call it in NFL world, overreaction Tuesday in the WWE Raw world. I was like, the promo was good. I didn't think it was great. I'm not crapping on it. I just sitting here and told you I thought it was good, right? So that would make sense. I just think, yes, somebody saw something out of something so that person doesn't normally do, and they were just like, oh my God, it's the greatest promo. And I was like, it was good. It was really good, but it wasn't great.
Well, I mean, he's with Paul. I mean, he's going to learn how to do good promos with Paul. So,
listen, he should get better. That doesn't mean he's going to be good. Paul Heyman's going to make him better, but that still doesn't make him a main guy. But obviously the story's going, we're trying to get him to CM Punk. That will be the obstacle. The first time those two are in the ring face to face and they have to go they're going promo.
That's going to be tough. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
That's when you'll find it. And that's so everybody that's ready to crown him a good promo, there's his first. That's going to be his first obstacle course to zigzag through. Is going to be a one-on-one promo. And by the way, I will be the first one to say if he does a good job there, congratulations and kudos. Thanks for proving me wrong. Also, we saw LA Knight advance in a big win against one Jey Uso. Yeah. Clearly, we're at Jey Uso. The whole story at this point is he's snapping, right? Like he's just breaking.
Yeah. Even on the WWE website, it was like they were promoting that on the WWE YouTube. I was checking through some stuff before we recorded. They were setting that up. He knocked over some Prime. Jay's had some off and ons the last year. Okay, storyline. Okay. The main thing though is LA Knight and Gunther. This is not going to happen Friday. It's going to happen next Monday.
I'd have to look it up. I can't remember exactly because
when it happens,
I think so.
The two guys I picked to go all the way are going to have the match. This isn't as big as a Cena match, the final Cena match, but this is a really big deal. When they have that match, we're going to see Gunther work Sikoa over. Best match I've seen Solo Sikoa have, I think, honestly.
It's SmackDown, by the way. It's this Friday.
Okay, it's SmackDown. So, but then Solo has to go work that whole gimmick he's got going on with the Wyatt family. So he doesn't need this whole storyline right now. Didn't have a place for it. Jay's got this storyline over here. This was a setup to get to where we are now, and I really like this.
What's your rumor is that there's a lot of people that are upset that Gunther's going to be the one to face. That story breaks out that there's a lot of higher ups. No, we're talking about in the locker, not like.
Oh.
Now, I'm not talking about fans. Yeah, there's rumors out there that there's a lot of people in the power, like in the back that are not like high up people that are not real thrilled that Gunther's the guy. Look, we've always established we know Gunther is he's a Paul Levesque guy. Like Triple H loves him, and has always pushed him. Whether it was in NXT when he came to the Raw, SmackDown. When he came up to Raw, boom, he's an IC champion, running for the longest IC title reign. Then he becomes the champion, runs a super long title reign there. So I don't know why anybody's shocked. We've said it for months. Since they announced this tournament, right? Hell, even when people were just like, who's going to face him last? It was probably Gunther, based on his history.
But here's the even better question, Nick. And this is something I thought of this weekend. Cena lost this weekend, Nick. Okay? He lost his belt. Does it make it easier or for him to lose in his final match now? Was that kind of like, is that the loss he's going to take and he's going to win his final match? Does the guy that goes on to face him at a Saturday night's main event, does that guy have a better or a lower chance? Because Cena just took the loss. Is Cena going to lose twice in a row on his last run?
Well, I mean, how many losses has he taken across this year?
Oh, he's taken some bunch.
He's taken some losses. Brock Lesnar freaking beat his ass.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not, here's the thing. I think if it's left up to John Cena, which we've clearly been told it is, John Cena wants to, lose on the way out, whatever. I've changed my mind over the last, probably month or two. Why not have him win? Why not have him go over? Why not have it be a huge celebration and just kind of, do the thing? Have the party. Celebrate the man. I know the whole show, the whole Saturday Night Main Event's not going to be one giant. They say it's not going to be, but why not? I know all the NXT guys are going to be wrestling,
Yeah. Why
not?
Well, it's basically a John Cena tribute show with what he wanted, the NXT guys coming up to face those. Yeah. It should be all Cena themed,
But I do want to ask you this, because you brought this up about LA Knight. Off the air, we were talking a little bit. We don't think it's going to happen, so don't look for clickbait and tell us we're wrong. If LA Knight were to win, would you have him beat John Cena? Because I have a weird answer for what I'm going to...
I would, because he needs it more than Gunther.
100%. Gunther doesn't need it. LA Knight, it would benefit tremendously.
It would be a great word, too. Go ahead and go take us.
I don't think LA Knight's as hot as everybody thinks he is.
You don't?
No. LA Knight, I think, there's a thing that we have going on in the wrestling world right now where fans like to chant. Fans like to sing along. That type of thing. I think they like the LA Knight. Yeah. I think they love that piece. But have you ever watched some of his matches and watched how they react during his matches?
I've never.
I don't think they're into it. When you're comparing him to other superstars, I don't think he is. There's other wrestlers where you always say, I don't think they're over. I think their catchphrase is over. Because the fans like to sing along. I think, unfortunately, LA Knight's it. And by the way, I was a big fan. I actually like him. But I just don't. Just because I like something doesn't mean it's going to get over. And B, just because I don't like something means that it's not going to get over. It's a huge possibility that, because why, Myron? We're not in the demo anymore.
Nope, we're outside the demo.
Yeah.
We're ancient old men.
So I'm trying to just watch what I see on TV and go, I don't know that they.
Oh,
here's the crazy thing. I think the fans want Gunther to be the one, and we're going to find out on Friday on SmackDown.
See, because like when I go to indie shows, my favorite thing to do is watch the crowd. So I've never thought about really watching that thing to do, the crowd reactions on a.
It's
on a
worse
TV
on the
show.
indies when guys have like catchphrases or they have like certain things or whatever, and then like watch the reactions after to see how invested they are in them. Sometimes it's worse. It's just not as noticeable because it's not 18,000 people doing it versus or whatever. Speaking of bunches of people, I know one of your favorite things is the women's division and the women's tag team division. Like, dude, what the hell happened? They have taken big time names and not in a bad way, they have pushed them into the tag division where we now have a team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the Kabuki Warriors are champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, Bayley and Lyra Vaquero, like that. Those four.
Hey, and don't forget, on the other show we got some Nia Jax and some Lash Legend, who is Lash Legend's getting the biggest push. I mean, she was on the main roster before with her other tag team partner. Everybody acting like, oh, she's making her main roster. No, she's been there before, but she ain't had a push like this. She popped up in the main match of a pay-per-view. So don't forget me some Nia Jax. And we haven't seen Tiffany Stratton in forever, but she's not in the tag team division. I like the women's tag because the women's tag has been the greatest tool, and it's the men's tag outside of AJ Styles. If you hadn't put that belt on AJ Styles, I wouldn't be paying attention to the men's tag as it anyway. Hadn't paid attention to it.
Here's the crazy thing is I still don't think anybody is. It's just highlighted by the fact of, by the way, things that caught eye are on TV. That tag match was just fucking wild.
That crazy finishing move where he got him off
the stomp, it flipped him in the air into the Styles Clash. I was like, okay, that caught your eye, folks. That's something that caught your eye. But back to the topic at hand.
The women, I mean, they've put their number one, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, they put them in tag teams. And
you could argue 3 of the top 4, if not 4 of the top 4 women in your division. I mean, I get Jade Cargill's kind of over here.
Yeah.
But Flair, Bliss is a top. I mean, maybe not tippy top, but let's go with Flair. I think they think Asuka is. You've got Rhea, and you could argue Bayley. It's like,
dude, they're doing, and don't even forget Chelsea Green. She's got her what do they call it? Secret Harvest, Alba Fire ready to go. She's in that mixed tag team. Women are killing the tag team game right now. They're killing the tag team.
She's a U.S. champion.
Yeah, as long as
she's probably tied up too much to blend into the tag team. But yeah.
But as long as you don't tag up in Nattie's basement, apparently, we're gonna go Heart Dungeon, real old school Heart Dungeon. Where was Stu?
Listen, her, and TJ, they've started what they're called. It's the Dungeon 2.0. It's a wrestling love story. She's calling it. It is a tribute, obviously, to Stu. But a lot of that, by the way, comes out just. It's funny. She obviously this video comes out that we're talking about on Raw, and it was like, wait, is that? And at the very end, we see the low-key legend version of Nattie.
Yes.
The black, we've seen it in AAA. We've seen it in NWA. We've seen it in the Bloodsport stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This Nattie has a ton of potential because she's clearly not doesn't look like she's going to get lost in the shuffle, in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing. Nattie's always been one of the best women's wrestlers they had. Always been one of the best women's wrestlers they had. But they never, or not never, but in the last few years, they've not done anything with her at all. She's been a gimmick. And this pairing with Maxine Dupri, I thought it was just going to be a stupid gimmick. And all of a sudden now she's slapping the shit out of her and she's put her in the dungeon. I like the idea. And that Nattie that was going around doing all the blood sport and stuff, she was a badass.
Yeah, she was whooping ass and taking names, and that was my question: was that a test to see how that would go over in other places, and would it be embraced? And I'm like, why have we not thought this wouldn't? Who thought this would? Who was in creative just thinking that would not work?
I don't know, because I mean, the reaction to it everywhere she went was great. So I don't know who would not want this, but there's not many women on that roster. I don't think she could just tear up. They're bigger and stronger women, and they're faster, but I don't think anybody is as tough and as skilled as she is.
I think that's the combination that sets her apart, and I think hopefully, crossing our fingers, she's going to get a run that she's and I'm not going to say the deserved word, but hopefully she gets a run that she can sink her teeth into here, because people don't want to hear this. She's probably closer to the end of like a full-time run than she's not. And so,
I saw the age of Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix, how old do you think she is?
Beth Phoenix?
Yeah.
46.
45. I thought she was like our age, just because I think everybody is our age. I think Edge is our age. I think John Cena is our age, just because I think everybody I deal with is our age. But no, she's younger. She's got, if Edge ever goes back, maybe there's something there. But man, this Nattie, I look forward to it. And if she can pull Maxine Dupri along with her, if they get more out of Maxine Dupri, she's popular.
It's a great way, by the way, to pull her out of that old gimmick.
Yes.
To toughen her up, and and character wise or whatever. So I think that's a huge opportunity for them as well. Obviously, a lot of other stuff caught our eye, but that leads kind of into the war game stuff. We've already talked about the men's. The women's, we'll save that for last. Let's go ahead and go. We'll talk about the Vakir versus Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella's entire run has been an absolute waste of time, effort, and energy.
Probably so, but it was a decent match. Why was there so much time between matches, though? Oh my God, they had 4 matches on this card. I think they probably had half of it was just time killer.
Commercials and so
but Nikki's run was her seeing if she still had it, Nick. They're giving these legends
she needed a paycheck. This screams she needed a paycheck.
Well, she looks great, and it was popular with the fans.
I didn't say she didn't look great. I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying she needed a paycheck. She came back. She got a pop for, because everybody does when they come back. When she turned heel, okay, cool. And then boom, she's losing again. So it's like, because we were arguing, she had a losing streak, by the way, going in, and somehow got a title match. And then she lost that. So basically, she's done. As far as like, but now it doesn't, by the way, wins and losses don't matter. You could make an excuse. You could put her in a match. We've always talked about that. We've always joked about that. But that's just my take. I think you got to move on with Vakir and put her with somebody else.
But what are we going to do with Nikki? Is she going to take some more time off? Is she going to do another Dancing with the Stars? I don't know.
Who knows? Last but not least, obviously, to be blunt with you, the full reason why my phone was landscape sitting on a bar in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, was Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena for the Intercontinental title. Absolutely pretty much gave us the result we probably wanted.
Yes.
In the end. But my recommendation, I'm struggling lately here because I hate to say that this way. Could we have not have taken 15 detours to get to the end result that we wanted? There was a lot of stuff in there that was like, okay,
a lot of detours. There were 3 women involved. It was the whole, I'm going to hug you and then make the eyes over your shoulder bit again. Yeah.
Could we have just left out JD, left out Finn, left out, left all of that out and just went straight to the live part was my question.
Yes, you could have. But apparently they're wanting to reestablish Judgment Day because, as we talked about earlier, that Liv and Roxanne storyline, they've got to get them back together to make it work. But I would have preferred Cena to just do the Liv bit and done it that way. But it was a Judgment Day match. What do you expect? And Dominic's dirty Dom. He's going to have to cheat.
quick question I'm going to ask you. So today, rumors broke out. John Cena is being advertised for the Raw after WrestleMania.
John Cena is being advertised for the Raw after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
This WrestleMania.
The one coming up.
The one where he's rumored to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What's he going to be doing?
This was his last match is December 13th. And I'm not going to lie to you. I understand he always has said he's going to be around after in some capacity. But basically it's online. It could be totally like, hey, it's not true. It's not accurate. But if he's being advertised for the Monday after WrestleMania Raw there in Las Vegas, John's going into the Hall of Fame, and John's gonna, probably do an appearance. And like, is that the actual like, leave the memories alone? The Ric Flair moment where he waves and walks away. Is it that night and not December 13th now?
No,
I asked somebody, how big a check did Netflix cut for this?
Oh God, no telling what they cut for that. I mean, they probably gave them, They probably gave them. They didn't. But the thing is, maybe they weren't selling a lot of tickets for that Raw. Maybe they weren't ready for it. Maybe they needed one more thing out of Cena, and Cena's the guy.
Dude, that Raw sells out. It'll sell out. You could say you could have 0 matches announced, nothing, because they sell those damn packages where you get all of the shows. So that you get 4 weeks, 4 shows. You get SmackDown both nights, and you get the Raw. Those things sell out. I think it was just they want that. You remember the Ric Flair after when he went into the Hall of Fame, the next night he's on Raw, he's retiring, everybody comes out, blah 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 blah. I think that's the night we get this. I don't think it's I think they give him exactly what he wants at the Saturday night main event. But the big goodbye for a while, for a long time,
is going to be on Monday,
where
everybody can see it, not just the people with the special packages and stuff.
The Peacock, on Peacock.
And
so that intrigued me a little bit to say, like, hey, so clearly he's probably going into the Hall of Fame to that night, and so forth and so on, and moving on. The only reason I wanted to ask you, I left the women's WarGames match for last. 2 things. One, your thoughts.
Okay, I got a quick question first. In the men's match, how did they get him to stop bleeding so quickly? Skills?
Yeah, and I'm not even saying, because I by the way, it was taped.
WarGames?
Oh, no. I thought you said the Miz. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The men's WarGames match. CM Punk was busted open and bled. That was all cleaned off.
Sure.
Cody bled some from where he'd already been busted open. You didn't see it.
Wipe it off, a little Vaseline. If they got the stuff in there, who knows?
Okay, the women's match could have done more.
Okay.
The women's match was as PG as you can get.
2 things. You bled me. I'm asking you this because you literally walked me to where I wanted to go. Hardly any blood, toned down totally, and the women's match basically was just like, first of all, here the WarGames match needs to go away. First of all, we're going to start with that as a property. The WarGames match
or the WarGames match itself.
It needs to go away from Survivor Series.
Yes, the WarGames should be a match unto itself, that if we have a big storyline build where the teams are filling up already, then you develop, like Dusty would do, then you call WarGames.
Correct.
You don't have...
Correct. 2, if you are not going to bleed and you're not going to do it, stop doing the match. Because here's your problem, what you face. A week and a half before, we saw an absolute blood and guts match that was 100% more, I believe. Now, a little too much, you can make that case. I'm not arguing with you. But that's closer to the vision that Dusty Rhodes had for WarGames than the 2 matches that we watched called WarGames.
Let me ask you. If we rank the AEW women's match on a scale of 1 to 10, we rank it at 10. we rank the WWE match at a 1. Where in that scale would Dusty's vision be in your belief?
Dusty's way closer to a 10 on anything when it comes to War Games.
Okay. So it'd have been the women's.
Dusty's is at an 8 probably because he wants every guy bleeding in that match before it's over.
What's the important match? It's War Games. So yes, the match, some of the match theme pay-per-views are difficult. You know, Money in the Bank, I know you have to have it. Royal Rumble, I know you have to have it. War Games and the Survivor. Why not we have Survivor Series matches?
That my point being, if you're going to give us a more PG style content, that's more conducive to making it easier to pull off. By the way, this isn't a knock because I think every woman in that match I'm like a huge fan of. Clearly, they're not all comfortable using chairs, and so it showed that they weren't used to it because they didn't want to hurt anybody. My argument now, the flip side of that argument, the AEW women just looked, I didn't give a shit, and they were just beating the hell out of each other. So that's why it looked way better. So my point being, if you're not going to give us that type of style, 2, if the women clearly aren't comfortable doing it, don't do it.
Well, maybe it's WWE's not comfortable with women doing it. Not the women aren't comfortable with it. Maybe WWE just doesn't want women to do that.
Nia Jax, who we both love and adore, looked fucking terrified of using a chair. She was atrocious at it.
Well, she's a little stiff, you know.
But dude, like she literally, you know, and I'm like, either hit her or put the chair down. Don't pick it up. It's not that hard, in my opinion. But you're proving my point. Even if the women aren't afraid to do it, but WWE's they're not comfortable doing, then don't do it.
I like I said, I
don't be half pregnant. Either do the match or don't. And if the women aren't comfortable with it, maybe it's not a good idea to have them in there.
War Games is a match you save for maybe a WrestleMania, or you save it for when it's necessary. When you've had a storyline, like it would have made more sense to have the MFTs in one of War Games matches because they're all one faction.
Solos group.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have done Solo's version of the Bloodline or whatever you want to call it, the MFTs, and you get the Wyatt 6 or whatever, and then they're in there, and then that's the match. Yes. There you go. Yes. That made more sense as a War Games match than both of these. That was kind of my point.
Because you had to build both teams. On men and women, you had to build the teams. You took these guys, okay, you got your vision, and then you get Logan Paul kind of hanging out with them. Then you bring in the mercenary, Drew, okay? He's a mercenary. He's only coming in for this one thing. Then we're going to get Brock to come on and do one. And the men are like, who do we have?
That was kind of my point. Yeah.
It was glommed together on both men and women. They glommed the whole thing together.
Literally the week before the women's were still adding pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was kind of our point. But now the other king, we discussed this a little bit off the air in the past. Hey, look, you brought it up. You got to keep the Rumble, men's and women's. I argued with somebody the other day. They said, you got to keep the Money in the Bank. And I said, do you though? I'm like, do you? I understand why they do, because you want to sell 2 briefcases, the men's and the women's version. I do. I understand the logic. The Royal Rumble sets up WrestleMania. Money in the Bank, sure. But like the Hell in a Cell, the War Games, like when you're doing one, doesn't mean you, like, here's the thing. If the women's, take everything I just said, throw it out a window for a second. If you had a women's group angle that built in, grew to the point that they needed a War Games match, doesn't mean you have to have a men's.
Exactly.
Just do the women's.
Exactly. But you got to look over here on the other side, and AEW is doing it. And that was the highest ranked thing they've done in a long time.
Oh, all that being said, I don't like them but doing both of it as well.
No, I don't think you, it's like you have a place you're going. You're going here on a certain date on whatever was it, November 29th. You knew you were going to have a War Games. You had to get there. Okay? You had to build your storyline into the fact you had guys ready to have feuds to go into this. Not you had a feud that was going on and on, that culminated. The blow off was a War Games.
Correct.
Because you didn't blow off anything. Saturday night.
Well, maybe. Because apparently Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns says to Cody Rhodes, "This is the last time we will ever team." After that match, so maybe we concluded that whole, thing or whatever. I do believe, by the way, they've done a between WarGames and Raw. Obviously, we'll find out more on SmackDown. The path for WrestleMania appears clear. And collectively, we will probably throw up in our mouths because it looks like it's Bron Breakker versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title. And if everything you believe that I've heard is true, it is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes 3 at WrestleMania this upcoming year. That is your main events in Vegas, folks. So,
well, The Rock had that match he never was going to have again with Cena, right? On the next.
Oh yeah, the once in a lifetime, yeah.
Yeah, the once in a lifetime was done twice. So
what?
Back in the saddle again, Nick.
Go through it.
The theme is back in the saddle again.
Well, speaking of back in the saddle again, man, the big news everybody's probably was like, hey, are y'all not going to talk about it? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Damn, it's TV talk. TNA moves officially. That is announced. They are moving to the AMC Network. We've heard obviously like all kinds of rumors and stuff. The news may change after we were recording at 5:18 p.m. on a Tuesday. Timestamp that because any news after that was new. They have signed a multi-year media rights deal with the AMC Network. Let me ask you a question. Were you intrigued by the fact that they're changing slightly the name of the show to Thursday Night Impact? They're not going to call it TNA Impact. It's going to be Thursday Night Impact.
I think it's a catchy name. I think it's a good start. I think it's something to draw eyes. So
I think it was used to not repel eyes. TNA. What do we? Everybody has always said but through every incarnation, it was total nonstop action. But the mass public, when they see TNA, that is not what they think.
Okay.
So I think that's where that came to be more commercial. This screams that somebody, because we're going to get that there was somebody who probably kind of said, hey, I'm not telling y'all what to do over there. It's y'all's business. But if it were us, we would probably change the name of it to Thursday Night Impact.
I think it's great. It was a good choice.
Yeah.
January
15th, it's going to kick off the Curtis Colwell Center in Dallas, Fort Worth. It's a good market for them. They do pretty well there on the average. So I think they're going to do well. I have not looked up yet. I probably should have, but I did not look up what's the capacity of that building. They're probably going to be smart and keep it in. It's a relatively small thing.
Curtis Coleman Center, you said?
Curtis Colwell Center, yeah.
Oh, okay.
If it was Curtis Colwell or Curtis Coleman, it wouldn't be there. It's going to be from 9 to 11 Eastern time on AMC. And by the way, did you notice? And AMC Plus. So that'll be a huge plus to catch up. Not that I have that, but
God, I can't wait to just go ahead and get my DVR set so I can put this in my loop.
Here's the thing that's intriguing. We had heard $7 million for weeks upon weeks. The deal's announced, and so here's my thing. I now we're hearing 10 to 30, and I'm kind of like pushing around. Like I don't know if you listen to Eric Bischoff a lot about when he talks about like the misnomer of the $185 million deal that AEW has with Warner Brothers Discovery. Mm-hmm. He says, a lot of times he's like, they could be giving him $20 million of unsellable commercial spots and calling that it's $20 million in value.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So we're hearing 10 to 30 million. Is that the total of all of the years that they signed, or is that like per year? Is it is there value in there and not dollars? I think that stuff will come out after 5:21 p.m. On Tuesday afternoon. But any number that's in bigger, I think is a huge thing. But of course, everybody led to the big question was, now they're going to be on a competitive network. Rumor broke out this morning as we were recording. NXT and TNA were done. Partnership's over. Parks closed.
Bad.
Moose out front should have told you.
But I was going to say it's bad news, and you caught me with that one, man. Damn.
But of course, Sean Ross Sapp. by the way, saw Sean Ross Sapp at WrestleCade. He was there. You ready for this? He was literally right next to your table. He was the one that he was sitting right beside them. So yeah. So Sean Ross Sapp says that is not accurate. The TNA NXT deal, 100% is still on. AMC was fully aware of the partnership. No issues there. Obviously, the big question that came out, as Sean Ross Sapp implies, WWE even assisted in getting the deal done to be on AMC.
Hey, they're the people that know how to do this kind of stuff. So yeah, so if they're going to help them get the deal done, they're going to keep working with them. That's probably where a lot of the value was, in my opinion, Nick. If you always know that you can cross promote with the WWE brand on top of this and bring in WWE stars.
If you don't think there was any value to TNA being able to say, and WWE confirming, occasionally some of our talents will cross over and be on your network.
Yeah.
If you don't think there was any value in there, I think you're sleeping on something.
Well, because they put the TNA title on some of their biggest stars in NXT, and that helped the TNA brand, because people are like, where'd that title come from?
Yeah.
Let's go look at that program.
So now we've officially entered the world into Monday Night Raw, Tuesday's NXT, Wednesday's AEW Dynamite, Thursday is now Thursday Night Impact, Friday is SmackDown, Saturday is Dynamite and Collision. Oh, and by the way, pay-per-views will just randomly be peppered in on Saturdays and Sundays a couple times a month, give or take. They'll be peppered into there. And we have not included the Ring of Honor stuff, which airs on Fridays. We have not included NWA, who comes on somewhere, sometime, no idea where anymore. And then, other stuff like, oh, by the way, like our friends are on Triller, they're on, so there's all this content that's out there that's available. Here's what I wanted to go into all of this. By the way, don't care in a weird way about something I'm going to throw in here in a second. Why would anybody wish bad on any of this right now if the teenager or the young kid version of you knew this was coming at some point? Why would you hope TNA fails? Why would you hope AEW fails? Why would you hope WWE? Any of this stuff? You're getting wrestling every single night of the week, pretty much.
You're just a dick. That's the only reason you would hope any of this fails. I'm not saying people are partisan. Oh, I like AEW. Ooh, no. The hate I read just going through social media about stuff. No one should no one should hope this fails. This right here is. I mean, the only reason somebody would hate this happening is they're just jerks, Nick. All the hate about wrestling on the internet. And it's not non-wrestling fans doing. When we were kids, remember the people that hated wrestling didn't watch it? And I see AEW fans.
And made fun of us, but yes.
Yes, they made fun of us. And they're like, that's just fake. You had to get Dr. Death to handle it. But you had AEW fans on one side, like I'm not going to get ESPN Plus just a show. Vote with my dollar. Whatever, folks. It's all the same sport. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Okay? If you don't like college football, you like NFL football. Some people like college football, but not NFL football. But nobody's saying let's get rid of football. Okay? Just enjoy it. This is the 605 stretched out over a whole week. I think it's wonderful. Yeah. I think it's showing the media penetration that wrestling is getting on a larger scale than ever before.
I'm a big sports guy, and I could not get through like the week because, college football was a big thing. Everything's hyping up, everything going into this weekend. But Survivor Series logos on my ESPN screen. They're running commercials. They've got guys there's guys on the talk shows in the morning. Just Dominic Mysterio is on First Take in the morning. I'm like, gee, this is crazy. But I only think with the success of this, we're going to see more. And one of the ones that came up this week, we talked a little bit last week about AAA got the Fox deal in Latin America, but now it's kind of coming out with why would you help AMC and TNA kind of make this partnership? Here's the genius of it. Not saying this happened, but I love a good conspiracy theory. If TNA is worth 10 to 30, whatever that number is going to be. We'll find that out more lately. Why not get AAA on TV in America, in the United States? Because, listen, we've learned a hardcore fact. The real money for these wrestling promotions seem to be the United States. That's where they get the biggest dollar.
Yes.
So I asked myself, I was like, if you help TNA get a deal on AMC and you can get a part, you're on YouTube, but it's hard to monetize YouTube in a real big way like they're probably wanting. I got one for you.
What's that?
Hit up your people at Peacock.
They wanted wrestling.
Yeah, they just didn't want to pay what Netflix was willing to pay for the PLEs and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why Netflix has the PLEs and stuff. They have Raw or whatever for the most part, right? ESPN has the PLEs, and Netflix has the Raw.
What indie promotion in Georgia draws the biggest crowds at the highest ticket prices? Lucha. There's an audience in America for AAA. I think it will be successful.
By the way, shout out to Ricardo. Ran a show in South Carolina and ran a show in Florida as well. I dare say if he could get into a rotation where he ran every 3 months, but he ran a show in Georgia, the next month he ran in South Carolina, and the next month he ran in Florida, could he build that big of a thing where he's drawing that big every third month and just bouncing around?
Oh, he'd
kudos.
He'd be a millionaire.
All that to say, there's clearly a lucha market here in the United States, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good little thing, kind of they could potentially put together there and get AAA on some kind of. I would lean that it's probably going to be a streaming thing. Because somebody was talking about something the other day, and with we were watching, and Paramount's advertising UFC coming to Paramount Plus. The pay-per-view model's dead for UFC now. It's basically if you have a subscription, you're going to be able to watch them. WWE killed their PLE market, pay-per-view market a long time ago. Is AEW next? Like eventually, is like just all the pay-per-view models, are they going away? So all that to be said, AAA they end up on a streaming network where they get the guaranteed income.
Well, then I can't. If they're going to go to that market, I can't ever get rid of my phone plan because I still get HBO Max free on my phone plan.
I'll talk to you a little bit off air. Some developing stuff happening literally today when it comes to how much where HBO Max is going to land. And I don't want to talk about it because I don't have every single detail. But yeah, the huge.
Can I still have it free?
No, we'll talk about that off the air. But before we get into that's kind of all the news we want to get into because we're running. Shockingly, we ran long on a PLE weekend. We want to talk about what we're going to be doing this upcoming weekend when we talk about making the drives. But remember, making the drives brought to you by Video Bolt. This episode of the Tapped Out Podcast is brought to you by our new partners at Video Bolt. They're a video technology company that's been around redefining content creation since 2009. Whether you're a podcaster, promoter, small business, media outlet, Video Bolt makes it easy to create professional, high-quality videos fast without a crazy price tag to go with it. They've powered projects like, from big names like Duncan, Hearst, Comcast, but their platform is built for creators just like us, so you can look just as sharp as those guys. So if you want your videos to stand out, head over to videobolt.net/tappedoutpod. And use our promo code TappedOutPod to get starting today. That's videobolt.net/tappedoutpod because your video should hit just as hard as your message. That's right, man. Check out our friends over at Video Bolt, videobolt.net/tappedoutpod. We always tell you, man, like if I can make these things, if I can make these intros, I can make all that kind of stuff. I promise you, anybody can. So again, check them out there, and if you just go straight to the website, use the promo code TappedOutPod. So man, it's that time, Myron. Speaking of Video Bolt, here's a graphic made by Video Bolt. Making the drives where we jump in the car, we look ahead to the shows that's coming up weekend. It's going to be a pretty good weekend. Thanksgiving, we talked about everything that went down over the Thanksgiving weekend and the Indy Rewind. Check out the Tapped In, show as well. Myron sat in this week on the Tapped In show.
What a wonderful guest you have.
So let's make the drives to the upcoming weekend. Let's start off with the one fall block, as we like to call it, where we're just going to kind of give you everything they're going to do because it's usually 2, 3, 4 shows. You never know. But the one fall block starts Friday in Watkinsville. It's their South Main Brewing. They're there, a couple times a month. Brady Booker's going to take on Parker Lee. Big news of the night is that they've kind of reassembled at another show maybe a week or so ago. Yeah, I think it was a week ago. But the superstars are back at full power. Nikki 8, Jimmy Wild, Tommy Mars, all three to be there Friday at Watkinsville. We missed them as a big team, man.
Yes, they were a very big part of the Georgia scene, and we're working other places too, which was great. Now, is this Parker Lee or Mantasy Parker Lee?
What's Mantasy? It's Pretty Parker.
Okay, now that guy, he's so covered in baby oil, he's got an advantage here. I'm gonna give him a big pop. Now, I think Mantasy will kill it at the TV tapings though.
Yeah, Sunday at McDonough, Georgia, the TV tapings. Who knows, what's going to go down there. I just highly recommend it. It's a fun show. They've done a good job. They've tightened it up as far as the time. Showtime's 5 p.m. It's kind of the bell time there, so you should be out of there cross your fingers, well in advance of 8 o'clock to get out and go home. So if you're in the McDonough, Georgia area, make sure you're checking it out. And by the way, Friday at Watkinsville, that bell time is at 7 p.m. Also on Friday, Action Wrestling is running their big show there. It's a Toys for Tot show, by the way. Santa's going to be in the house. It's in Tyrone, Georgia. Bell time is 7:30 p.m. Lots of stuff going on there. Headlined, of course, though, by Tim Bosby versus Darian Bingston. Darian's been chasing this title for quite a while now. It's just been back and forth, coming up short, getting an opportunity. But look, the Action, the World Heavyweight title means a ton to Darian Bingston, but the man who's got to put that prestige over the last few months is a guy that kind of took the world by storm, if you will. Tim Bosby, after capturing that title. Any bets on who you think will come up with this one?
I got to give Tim Bosby the pop on this, man. He is most impressed me. Now, do you think good old Matt Griffin will want some more tank tops for Christmas after the horrible run of tank tops he's had lately?
He's probably asking him, but he's been naughty, so he might not get anything.
Nothing, but bring stuff for the Toys for Tots, folks. This is a great
absolutely. If you're coming, look, we're big Toys for Tots thing. I've got a huge thing tomorrow that I got to do for work for some Toys for Tots. So I mean, I'm a big supporter of it as well. Boomier South, Alex Kane, Teriyaki, and Jay Lucas. This was all set up at the last show there in Tyrone when the Good Hand, they always try to get the numbers advantage at everywhere. They did so, but Teriyaki, Jay Lucas, Alex Kane kind of made a little group team faction themselves, if you will, to kind of fight off the Good Hand. So that'll be entertaining. Landon Hale's going to be in the house. Joe Black versus Matt Sales. You got to remember though,
I'd like to see this.
This is a different version of Matt Sales down there now. This is a Matt Sales who I think, when we come to underrated, underappreciated list, Matt Sales probably would put himself right at the top of that list, as he's felt like he's just really been taken for granted for a very, very long time there at Action. And I think Matt Sales is ready to see, what about me? Like,
about me. Yeah.
When's my time? Slim J will be in the house.
It's always good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're just throwing out bangers. If you don't believe me, check the poster. It's what they do there at Action Wrestling. Tyrone, Georgia, again, bell time is 7:30 p.m. Also on Friday, SCA, they'll be at the Royston Dome. Typical bell times, 8 o'clock. Lucas Da Silva and Alexander Lev will be in their their third match of the best of 5 series, where they're going to crown the SCA champion. Caleb Crocker, what's going on with him and with Greatness Inc. and Richard Page. Looked like he was against them. Now it looks like maybe he's with him. Not real sure. Stevie Ray Frost, he defeated Nick Halen this past week. What's next for him now? Will a new challenger step up? Will Nick Halen ask for a rematch? Really tough to say. But also, there was a Georgia Heritage #1 contender battle royal. We talked about that a little bit. Go check out the Tapped In show for the Indy Rewind. Jaden Vane return. Big Bad Brando return. Ashton Martin, gets it. So is Hunter James, who's he going to face? But it's because Ashton Martin's side, is he distracted by the Scott Mason situation that went down?
Whoever he wants to face. I want to tell you, he's a bad guy.
That is, again, bell time, 8 p.m., Royston Dome, Friday night. Saturday night, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling in Monroe, Georgia, bell time, 7 p.m.
Oh,
It's a JBE Urine Union. Dr.
yes.
Brock, Jagged Egg, Xavier Reyes, Brian Kane, Tetchy Bakuchi, and Drew Blood all in the house
I've
for
wanted
one
to see
big
these
family
guys
reunion.
so much. I've missed these guys. I haven't seen Dr. Brock a lot. I haven't seen Brian Kane at all. I ran into Tetchy at a convention, and Drew Blood, my all-time favorite. I finally get to see him again, man. I'm super stoked for this, Nick. And the rest of the card is going to be phenomenal. Nick Halen and Lev, man, that's going to be a sweet one.
Yeah. Bobby Moore, Xander Seabolt. But the big question mark that's kind of coming out of the show as well, Dominic Stuckey's your Ultimate Battleground winner. Who will he choose to face? Because he can face any champion he wants for a title. Will it be a tag title? Will he get him a partner to do a tag title? Will it be for the heavyweight title against CT Keys? Or will it be Hunter James and that Classics title? No, there's a lot of history there. I think Dom's got to put both things on the scales and ask himself, do I hate Hunter James more and want to take his title more than I want to, do I hate that more than I want the opportunity to become the Southern Fried Heavyweight Champion? We'll find out there in Monroe for sure.
Tough questions.
JBE's the big, obviously, JBE reunion. Hopefully you'll be there. Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, in Monroe, Georgia on Saturday. Also on Saturday, Bullpen Pro Wrestling. It's going to be in Ranburne, Alabama. That was for Adam Priest, friend of the show. Olin James Memorial Show. The big, headline match, couple of them, to be honest with you. Let's start with where I think the most important match in Bullpen Wrestling history. Sunset Sam will take on Shane Knowles. Special referee Kyle Gunther. It's win or it ends. That's kind of what they're billing it as. If Sunset Sam cannot defeat Shane Knowles, Bullpen closes the doors. If if Sunset Sam picks up the win, Bull Buchanan gets his company back, and we are back to normal, hopefully.
I hope he wins, man, because they've been so successful. I really like those guys. I'd hate for them to close shop like that.
Yeah. JT Paradox will defend the television championship against Bryce Cannon, who's making his debut there at Bullpen. Judias will defend the Bull of the Woods championship against Xavier Cross. It's a massive opportunity for that young man.
Should be good,
yeah. Not only if he can, because I hate to say this, I don't know what's more important for this young man, capturing that Bull of the Woods title or picking up a huge win over Judias.
Yes.
Lethal Gains, they're going to take the tag titles. Ryan Wendell and Ethan Dallas in a tuxedo match. Bull rope match, Kyle Gunther, Xander Oric. Then also another big match. There's going to be a big 8-man match. Zach Buchanan, Jay Alpha Milla, who he's debuting as well. Rob Adonis and Trey Jordan are going to be taking on Aaron Dallas, BK Bennett, Dante Diamond, and Cody Wyndham. So again, big memorial show for them. Big show they've been building for quite some time. Of course, that headlined by Sunset Sam versus Shane Knowles. Win it or it ends. That's going to be a big thing for them. Sunday, RIPW Renegade Independent Pro Wrestling bell time is at 4 p.m. in Atlanta. Couple huge matches that you want to highlight when you look at this card. Jay Lucas will defend that RIPW title against Yabba Dabba Daddy, but the whole card has been building just for months. The Battle of Atlanta tournament has been just kind of plodding along for the last couple months. Bryce Cannon will face Hakeem Young in the finals. The winner will be your tournament winner. Any bets, man, before we, pick here?
I can't ever go against Bryce Cannon. I'm sorry. He is such a professional. I can't ever go against him on the thing. Hakeem is great, and he's a hot young talent, but I can't go against Bryce Cannon.
Hakeem's got a lot of momentum. We talked about it, when we recorded the Tap 10 show. He's been on this record over-year run with that Coastal Chaos Championship down there at Coastal Empire. Him and Bryce Cannon, fairly familiar with each other, kind of cross path here and there. That one will be pretty exciting to say the least. Jacob Johnson, he'll defend the social media shout-out championship. Jay Alpha Miller, he's going to defend the Southeast Openweight title as well. Alexandra Quinn, she'll be defending the RIPW Queen's Crown. Chad Skywalker on the card. Northside Heroes on the card. check out Renegade Independent Pro. Like specifically, like I said, they will be down in Atlanta. Bell time is 4 p.m. Sundays are tricky. There's some 4s, there's some 5s. So always follow your favorite promotion on social media and stay in touch with them.
Jay Alpha Miller all over Georgia this weekend. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's doing really, really good stuff. But well, man, look, I'm literally reading messages as we're here. I'm gonna probably literally I'll have to talk about those probably. Somebody's listening to somebody's a Patreon member, patreon.com/tappedoutpod, and they are currently apparently listening to the Tapped In show, and they're asking me questions about program notes, about the changes that we talked about a little bit, and a lot of that stuff's going to be coming out. So check out the Tapped In show. It's going to explain all that, and as we get closer, because those changes affect that show more than the show, to be honest with you, so you should be checking those out, and we'll probably discuss it a little bit on Patreon as well. Loaded week coming out of Thanksgiving, a lot of crazy stuff. Any other thoughts, man, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just wanted to extend my condolences to CM Punk and AJ Lee on the passing of their dog Larry. Man, that's I didn't know Larry personally, but I felt like I did. He's such an ugly little bastard. But I mean, I know how much important it is to have a pet that you love. So sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna tear up now, actually, in real life. But that's all I got for tonight.
Well, man, if that's all you've got, what's the old saying, man? If I've got nothing and you've got nothing, what time is it?
It's time to tap out.